Hello, I'm Emily Rodda. This is my book, Scary Mary and the Stripe Spell. It's the first in the Monty's Island series, illustrated by Lucinda Gifford. Here are the friends who live with Monty on his island. There's Monty himself. There's Tawny, the fearless lion, Sir Wise, the owl who knows everything, Bunchy, the magician, Clink, the shipwrecked pirate, and Marigold, the clever cook in the island cafe. And here's how the story starts. Somewhere far away there's a sea that ripples with magic. And if you were a bird flying high over that sea one fine day, you'd be able to look down at the tiny green and gold dot that's Monty's Island. Not just now though, the sun isn't up yet. The night's nearly over, but it's still quite dark on the island. It's quiet too, because most of the islanders are sleeping. Monty and Tawny, the fearless lion, are asleep in their grass hut. Marigold, the clever cook, is asleep in her room at the back of the island cafe. In a little house nearby, Bunchy the magician is snuffling in her hammock, dreaming that one of her spells has worked at last. Silent Sir Wise is dozing in his hollow tree. Clink, the shipwrecked pirate, is snoring in his cave, his plans to escape from the island forgotten for a while. Even the jinglebee nests in the trees beside the beach are quiet, though no one knows if jinglebees actually sleep or not. It's different in the jungle, of course. In the jungle, the island's monster, the hairy horrible, is still on the prowl. Night is its time for hunting, but soon the horrible will crawl back to his den. Already the sky is starting to lighten. Another day is about to begin. Not an ordinary day, though. At this very moment, a silver shadow is streaking through the dark sea towards the island, bringing startling news. The sun pops up, bright as ever. As usual, Monty and Tawny are woken straight away when the two argue birds that live on the roof of the grass hut start their morning quarrel. "Wake up, wake up, wake up!" the bossy one squawks. "Not yet, not yet, not yet," the quiet one trills back sleepily. "Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up!" "Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet." The quarrel can go on like that for ages. It's impossible to sleep through it. Monty's politely tried to persuade the argue birds to live somewhere else. Tawny's tried too, not so politely. But the argue birds like Monty's roof and won't move. So on this particular morning, like every other morning, Monty yawns and Tawny says, "Puh," and they crawl out of bed to get ready for the day. Then Monty gets his pickup sled and they go down to the beach to see what the waves have left behind on the sand overnight. There are always shells and seaweed. There are always sticks of driftwood that Monty collects for the cafe stove. But often there are special finds too, lost things that have floated from faraway boats and beaches to make a new home on the island. Monty can always think of ways to use them. On the island, he's as famous for having good ideas as Sir Wise is famous for being wise. Today, Monty pulls his sled along the beach just as usual, looking for special finds and collecting driftwood along the way. As usual, Tawny pads behind him, keeping an eye out for the hairy horrible. It's true that the horrible likes to hunt at night. It's also true that the horrible hates the beach because the sand gets between its hairy toes. But there's a first time for everything, and Tawny's careful as well as fearless. Besides, this morning he's got a prickly sort of feeling that tells him something dangerous is going to happen. 7 noisy seagulls are gossiping right in the sled's path. Monty squeaks the horn to make them move out of the way, and as they scatter, he sees something glinting under a clump of seaweed. He pulls the seaweed away, and there, lying on the sand, is a long, shiny, black box. Monty picks up the box and opens it. Inside is a glossy black stick and a silver tip. Monty has no idea what it is. Neither has Tawny. Monty shuts the box again, puts it on the pickup sled and moves on. He's thinking so hard about the black stick that he doesn't see the green glass bottle with the note inside till he actually trips over it. Now, a bottle with a note inside sounds quite exciting, but for Monty it isn't exciting at all. He's pretty sure that he's seen this bottle before. Just to make certain, he pulls out the bottle's cork and checks the note. But it turns out he's right. Clink the shipwrecked pirate is trying to get rescued again. The note says, "To whoever finds this message, if you can't read, give it to someone who can. Me ship got wrecked, and now we be stuck on this rotten little island. See picture? I got a treasure chest and will sling a big reward to anyone who rescues me. Clink." Under the message is a drawing of the island. Clink has thrown his message bottle into the sea lots of times before. The trouble is he never throws it far enough, so it always floats back to the shore. Then Monty finds it washed up on the sand and gives it back to him. Clink's never grateful. In fact, finding out that his bottle hasn't floated away puts him in a furious temper. He rages and stamps his peg leg till even Tawny gets a headache. Just thinking about it makes Monty feel tired. So, instead of putting the green bottle onto the pickup sled, he slides it into his handy bag where it will be out of sight. So, that's how the adventure begins. The things Monty's found on the beach are going to be very important later on. And of course it turns out that Tawny's quite right to feel that danger's coming, because Scary Mary the terrible pirate is on her way, and it's going to take one of Monty's best ideas to save the island. I've loved thinking about Monty's island. Here are a few ideas for you. Imagine you lived on an island in a magic sea. What would it look like? What would its name be? What would be the good things about living there? What would be the bad ones? And Monty's island has some very strange creatures living on it. Jinglebees, argue birds, the hairy horrible. Can you invent another weird creature who might live there and draw a picture of it? It can be cute or scary, whatever you like. It's your creation. And what about this? In Scary Mary and the Striped Spell, pirates invade Monty's island. If there's one thing pirates love, it's treasure. Find something you can use as treasure and hide it somewhere safe. Then draw a map to show where the treasure is hidden and send your friends or family on a treasure hunt. It's been lovely talking to you about Monty's Island. Goodbye for now, and happy reading.